Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer, and this is a video about the Aries full moon taking place on September 29th at 5:57 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. Really exciting stuff. This Aries Libra eclipse cycle video that I did recently to explain the upcoming eclipse on October 14th and the remaining eclipses after that into next year is available now in the Lightworker playlist, but also just on the channel if you want to have a listen to that. This full moon in Aries is a major piece of the cycle. It is a setup to the next solar eclipse taking place on October 14th in the sign of Libra. It will be heavily relationship focused for the collective, that particular eclipse. And so the entire eclipse cycle, because Aries and Libra are our relationship signs, there will be no separate twin flame video about the eclipses. They'll just be the one for the collective. Like I said, we have the second of the 5 eclipses of the Aries Libra axis arriving on October 14th. And that eclipse speaks rather loudly to both counterparts, Juno, wife, and Jupiter, husband. During this cycle, that's heavily intertwined with the South Node having to deal with our pasts. And so the solar eclipse that's connected to the South Node on the 14th, just a couple weeks away, and the entire eclipse cycle will have major opportunities for rekindlings, second chances, renewals with known or previously known partners, or even reclamation of strengths or relearning or strengthening of lessons from our past lives. So if you're needing support clarifying how to use this energy, given where you're at in your connection or love life, now's the time to book a reading. My calendar is open this week and next week, leading up to both the full moon and the new moon solar eclipse. It is the perfect time to look at how you can break through any blocks in your connection, any repetitive patterns in your love life. Okay. So my booking information is linked below the video, but you can also find me at kmoonastro.com and just book a personal reading that way. Let's get into this Aries full moon, the divine masculine's full moon. This full moon is relatively unaspected by any of the major planetary energies, and it's also unaspected by either counterpart. So there's no major planetary aspect, square conjunction, sextile, opposition from anything other than some of the asteroids. Okay. And this is really what makes this particular full moon in Aries more personal than it already was as an Aries full moon to begin with, since Aries deals with the sign of the self. We have a T-square with Pallas in opposition and Shaman's asteroid and Vesta and Pholus in Cancer and Capricorn, respectively. And this T-square is evoking a level of internal tension pertaining to our growth within our connections. And because of our connections, this full moon in Aries is a prelude to the solar eclipse new moon in Libra that asks us to take inventory authentically and sincerely of our blind spots, and take inventory of our excuses for why we don't have what we say we want, and our progress with regard to our manifestations. Details about all of that and why it works that way and what each of these individual asteroids mean are in the Lightworker energy update. I won't belabor that here. I'll leave you to have a listen over there. For Juno, our divine feminine energy over here in Leo, she is still super magnetic, as previously discussed in recent lunar updates, as she's been kicking it with Venus as Venus has come out of retrograde. And that means that there's lots of opportunity for those ignited by the energy of unconditional love to be in a state of hyper manifestation, as love is one of the most powerful states to create any and everything from. Venus magnetizes and draws unto herself, and rolling with Juno in the way that she is, she's making Juno extraordinarily magnetic and drawing. She's in harmony, Juno here with Chiron. We're here in Aries and with Mars, the 21st degree of Libra, and a sextile. And she's in a squaring position to Uranus and Jupiter, the divine masculine energy, and the original divine counterpart there, Uranus. There could be, with Uranus in the mix, some surprising developments in connection, turnarounds, or surprising conversations now that Mercury is direct and out of Virgo. There could also be a little bit of a lack of clarity in the communication since Mercury is in conversation with Neptune, creating a tad bit of fogginess in communication and consciousness. But by staying connected and open, creative, and flexible, things have a chance to go in positive directions. There's also a demand from the connection to do something new, to step up to a higher level of authenticity in connection, a higher level of sincerity, a higher level of congruence. And it may come over you or the other person to do it all of a sudden, like. And so many of the conversations I've been having with counterparts who want to do a personal reading, but about their twin connection recently, have very heavily focused on here's where the connection is, here's where I want it to be, and here's everything that I've been experiencing up until now, and here's everything I've done. One of the things that's been showing up tremendously in sessions of late has been where our blind spots are when it comes to stepping up to and stepping into allowing the connection to live in its fullest. I had a client not too long ago, and she's in a connection with her person, but her person insists that she's just not ready. Her person's not ready. And so, there's been this outpouring of unconditional love for a long time between the two of them. However, the counterpart who insists that they're not ready has been having a lot of focus and attention on their career and business. The counterpart who's talking to me has already created a tremendous amount of success in her career and her business. And so she's asking me, well, what do I do? I've done a lot of great manifesting work. It's going really well. I was able to call her in during one particular period, and then she bounced right out. What am I missing, Kay? We had a lovely conversation about settling and where, because listen, both members of this counterpartship are like nothing to sneeze at. They're gorgeous people. They get attention everywhere they go. They're physically attractive. They both look incredible on paper, very accomplished individuals. Either one of them could walk down the street and have at least 3 or 4 different suitors by the time they walk back in their house. But the person my client wants is, of course, her person, and her person is claiming she's not ready. So, what's there to do? And so my client has been in the process of allowing somebody else to court her, somebody else equally gorgeous, accomplished on paper, loving and adoring her. And nevertheless, what my client wants is her person, not this amazing other person. And so we had a conversation about burning the boats and where the incongruence lives in settling, and how if we're settling, and just allowing something else to unfold, we're going to continue. And we've got a 1-car garage. We're going to continue. If we want the Ferrari, but we've got the Mercedes parked in the garage, we got to get the Mercedes out if we want the Ferrari to land and not be settling. You don't have to be alone. Nobody's saying that. But if you are clear and committed, you also can't be double-minded. And that's where we've got this lovely Mercury speaking to Neptune, can be causing a little bit of double-mindedness, a little bit of fog. We've got this Mercury speaking to Jupiter, our divine masculine energy, asking us to strengthen and double down on where we are clear, we know what we want, and align our lives. That was the lesson of the Venus retrograde. Really align our lives with our creative authority, with 100% where we know we want to be. And so that's one example of at least 4 different conversations I had exactly like it in the last week. Where there's incongruence, that incongruence is going to show itself to be the block in your connection leading up to this solar eclipse, new moon in Libra, the partnership sign, where we want a new beginning, but we are standing in our own way, holding on to second best or holding ourselves back because we don't believe we're worthy of all of it, maybe only some of it. This is where we're going to find this particular full moon, call us on the carpet on it and say, hey, you know what? Knock, knock. I'm your potential and we can do more. We can have more, but we do have to stand for it. Okay. So there, like I said, a demand from the connection itself to do something new, to step up to a higher level of authenticity in the connection. Now, it may come over you, like I said, or the other person to kind of do it all of a sudden. Like you may get some like sudden communication, sudden type of change in the direction of the communication that would not surprise me, given the way Uranus is speaking to Juno. Juno itself, while the divine feminine energy, Juno represents connections, marriages, partnerships. So with Uranus and Juno in a square in this way, it's things can just kind of come out of nowhere and begin to move when we are in total alignment. Okay. And so I like to see this. I actually just got an email from another client who we talked about alignment again in her session. It was the same deal. And I'll see, I asked her permission if I could post it in the community section so you guys could see the totality of like how she put it. But the deal here is that there was a piece of herself that she just wasn't accepting. And so we had a long conversation. She knew her chart. She knew she had Venus and Juno in conversation with Neptune. And she thought for sure that meant she was doomed in relationship. And I said, no, actually, when Venus and Juno in conversation, you actually are one of the deep people. Like a shallow or superficial relationship will never work for you. There always has to be spiritual connection. We had the conversation. She finally started to accept it. A few tears were shed that this is just how she is. And she writes to me, Kay, I cannot thank you enough for the reading. It's made everything so much clearer. I got really honest about my emotions for my person, leaned into love, and in under 48 hours, he unblocked me and sent me a friend request on social media after almost a year and a half. So things can happen fast in this energy, like super fast. But in order for them to happen that way for us, we also have to be super aligned. And so I give you these examples so that you really understand alignment has a lot to do with acceptance of our truth and not trying to bend our truth to make our reality fit, but instead to accept our truth to bend our reality to it. Hopefully I explained that clearly. Okay. Now, this Chiron component here is providing a lot of additional influence because it's almost an exact. Chiron in harmony with Juno, the connections energy, is turning wounds and lessons into wisdom and leadership with this full moon, like a solid understanding of what we can personally do differently to get different results in connection. Because with Chiron, it's a choice. You either stay in woundedness or you step up into wisdom, but you cannot hang out in the wound story if what you want is to like lead in wisdom. Okay. So we get the choice because that's a harmonious aspect. And ultimately, with this full moon, the Juno energy is invited to close out a personal cycle. Again, full moon in Aries, full moon closing, Aries, sign of the self, a personal cycle of lack, not enoughness, lack of confidence, unaccountability, irresponsibility, or settling. I'm going to be honest, it's already whooping my ass because it's showing me all kinds of things about Kay that Kay needs to make some adjustments around if she wants what she says she wants. So if you're feeling it, trust me, we're paddling in the same boat, but we're all going downstream together. Okay. It is going to get easier from here, but the adjustments do in fact have to be made. And it's a perfect time with the cardinal full moon because cardinal signs specifically deal with taking initiative. Okay. Now, if in fact you need some help sorting out what you can accept or change about yourself to get better results in relationship, because that's what the whole cycle is about with the North Node in Aries. Better us eclipses in Aries lead to better partnerships, eclipses in Libra. Okay. So if you need some help solving for that, book with me over at K Moon Astro and we'll get you into your next step as well. Link is below the video. Time is available this week and next before the eclipse on the 14th. Let's look at our divine masculine energy. Here's Jupiter. Jupiter is harmoniously aspected by Mercury and Virgo. Okay. Inside of Virgo, I like to see that it's Mercury is coming out of retrograde shadow and it's giving us loads of confidence with Jupiter conjunct nearly almost Uranus. Now, I covered the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and how important this is going to be as they come into lockstep in the early part of 2024 in the lunar update for the Virgo new moon. That was 2 weeks ago. Please have a listen to that. We're on our way to a major manifestation season, but the foundation laying for that is literally right now. So this is giving us a ton of confidence with Jupiter speaking as harmoniously as it is to Mercury. That's always a lot of optimism. And Uranus can be big ideas that need to come into form. With Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus in Earth signs, for some of us, this is going to be a sudden urge now that you're in a better place to take new action in your connection or in love. So this is a wonderful opportunity toward growth and expansion if both people can stop anticipating and expecting their past to repeat and then reacting to the past and the present, which is a projection that always leads to self-sabotage. This is what that period of creation goddess conjunct the South Node, retrograde conjunct the South Node was all about in the earlier part of the year. It was a season that was all about flushing out our past relationship patterning and our past relationship creations and letting those go so that because they were in Libra, the sign of relationships, South Node acts like a portal for release when we've got a planet retrograde conjunct. So we were releasing our past relationship creations. We did that. That was the start of the year. Now we're moving into our season of prelude, kind of the preamble to major manifestation in love. Okay. So now that we've released all that we used to be so that we can become new, there's some exciting time for growth in our divine masculine energy and loads of opportunity in both counterpart energy fields. for receiving and for renewal, if in fact you're ready. Now, if that Venus retrograde in either divine masculine or feminine energy hit your money sideways, I really want to encourage you. We've got an exciting time in front of us, but we have to be able to get up. And if it hit your love life sideways, same message. We have to be able to take the lesson, dust ourselves off, and take new action from here. This is not the moment for hesitation or the moment for kind of like playing it safe. This is the time with Uranus speaking to both counterparts to step up to the plate, take a new action for yourself that could really have the connection move in a new direction. Okay. And have your money move in a new direction as well, because Venus deals specifically with money. Jupiter is in the sign that deals with our earned income. So our internal divine masculine energy is being invited into that. So exciting times. As you listen to this and re-listen to it, I sincerely hope that you're listening for both your own internal masculine and internal feminine energy. I don't read the counterparts as people based on gender. I read them as energies in union that we all have within ourselves and need to work to balance. So by all means, take what resonates for your life stream. If you're looking for some support, you know where to find me. Definitely give the video a thumbs up and a subscribe if you're new. I'm here at the new and the full moon with added intel about how things are unfolding for the divine counterparts. Look forward to reading for you this week. Take great care and bye for now.